Have you ever walked into a room and felt like you were invisible? Meanwhile, someone else walks in, and suddenly, everyone's hanging on to their every word. What's their secret? Are they just born magnetic, or is there a formula to becoming effortlessly interesting? Let's break it down. Because being unforgettable isn't about being the loudest or the most impressive. It's about mastering the art of connection. Welcome to the ultimate guide on how to be the person everyone remembers. We've all met them, the people who walk into a room and instantly draw everyone in. Think Anthony Bourdain. Even on a TV screen, he had that magnetism. He wasn't the richest, the smartest, or the most powerful, but he had this way of making every conversation feel exciting. Whether he was talking to a world-class chef in Tokyo, a bartender in a rundown dive bar, or even the American president in a small pho restaurant in Hanoi, people leaned in closer when he spoke. He was effortlessly interesting. So what's the difference? Why do some people command attention while others fade into the background? Is it something you're born with, or can you learn it? Let's dive in. Here's a riddle for you. Two friends have dates lined up on the same night at the same restaurant. They sit far apart, but can still see each other. The first guy walks in, dressed to impress, dripping in cologne. He sits down and immediately starts talking about his business, how he fired someone that day, his thoughts on pay structures, unions, and his upcoming holiday. He's sharing level 4 details of his life, trying to seem relatable, but there's a forced energy. He's trying too hard, and it's obvious. His date glances across the room at her friend's table. Over there, her date walks in, smiles warmly, and asks about her day. He listens when she speaks, shares when it's his turn, and doesn't rush to fill silences. He doesn't dump his life story, he builds intrigue. Who do you think gets a second date? The truth is, interesting people don't try to be interesting. They don't overshare, over-explain, or dominate conversations. They don't scramble for attention. It comes to them naturally. The key? Stop trying so hard. Desperation is off-putting. Instead, focus on creating space for attention to come to you. Let's try another riddle. Two people are talking about their travels. One says, "I visited Japan once. It was great." True, but forgettable. The other says, "You know, one time in Tokyo, I got lost in a tiny alley late at night. I thought everything was closed, but then I found this hidden ramen shop. The chef didn't speak a word of English, but he convinced me to try something I'd never order. I still don't know what I ate, but it was incredible." Who just took you to Japan with them? Person number 2. That's the difference between a fact and a story. Most people communicate in dry statements. "I had a nice meal." "That event was fun." "I work in finance." There's nothing alive in those words. But when you tell a story, you invite people into an experience. Here's a simple 3-step formula to instantly improve your storytelling. Set the context. Where were you? What was happening? The unexpected moment. What funny, weird, or surprising thing happened? The takeaway. What did you learn? How did it end? Small tweaks make your stories more exciting. If you want to be interesting, don't just say things. Make people experience them. Have you ever walked away from a conversation thinking, "Wow, that person is really cool," but when someone asks why, you can't quite explain it? It's because they didn't say much. They made you feel interesting. Magnetic people are masters of mirroring. They react at the right moments, guide the conversation subtly, and make you feel like your words matter. Here's how they do it. Mirror intensity. If you're excited, they match your energy. If you're deep in thought, they slow down to meet you there. Introduce a new perspective. Instead of just agreeing, they add something that widens the conversation. "That reminds me of," or "I never thought about it like that before." Challenge just enough. The best conversations aren't agreement loops. They make you think. Have you ever tried it the opposite way? Make people feel like experts. People love explaining things they're passionate about. Even if they know the topic, they'll ask questions to learn more. Push you to go deeper. If you say you had an amazing trip, they'll ask, "What made it stand out from every other trip you've taken?" The goal isn't to agree with everything someone says. It's to make them feel alive. If you make people feel like their best selves, they'll want to come back to you. If you want to be unforgettable, you need material for your conversations. You get that by going out into the world and enjoying it. You don't have to skydive or backpack across countries, but you do have to make an effort to experience what the world offers, on both big and small scales. Anthony Bourdain didn't sit in a room reading about food culture. He immersed himself in it. Every meal, every conversation, every detour became part of a bigger story. He was living the things he described, and because of that, every conversation felt like an open door into a world you wanted to step into. Here's how to create your own stories. Follow curiosity. Try new foods, pick up new skills, or explore unfamiliar environments. Engage with the world. Don't just consume content, participate in it. Watch a documentary on Japanese calligraphy? Try it yourself. Say yes to spontaneity. Take a new route home, start a conversation with a stranger, or go to an event just because it sounds different. When you live with curiosity, it shows. People can't help but be drawn to that. Rule number 5, have your own way of seeing the world. The most interesting people don't just repeat what's popular. They have their own lens, their own philosophy. They've processed their experiences and shaped their own ideas. Imagine 2 people talking about food. One says, yeah, sushi's really popular these days. The other says, I love sushi, but I think ramen is more interesting. Each bowl tells the story of the chef who made it. Who sparks curiosity and debate? The second person. Here's how to build this skill. Reflect on your beliefs. Why do you think the way you do? Where does it come from? Challenge content. Don't just consume, question it. Develop strong tastes in life, not just in food. Share your perspective. The most interesting people make you see the world in a new way. Here's your mission. For the next 7 days, do something different every day. Take a new route, try a new food, start a conversation with a stranger. Pay attention to what stands out. See how quickly your world and your conversations start to change. By the end of the week, you'll have stories worth telling. Being interesting isn't about being the loudest or the most impressive. It's about how you interact with the world and the people in it. Stop trying so hard, tell great stories, make others feel interesting, live a life worth talking about, and share your unique perspective. Do that, and you'll be the person everyone remembers. So, what's your first story going to be? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on mastering the art of connection. See you in the next video.